everybody, and welcome to Real Talk. I am your host, Paul Britton. I will be here to review a couple of movies, because apparently it's really difficult for Hollywood to figure out that releasing basically one movie this past weekend. There were more, but for the most part, it was one movie. Releasing one movie this past weekend, and like 8 movies between Friday and Monday, like that made sense to Hollywood for some reason. There was just no way they could have just dropped Ferrari this weekend, or they could have, squeezed in The Boys in the Boat, or I don't know, just name any one of the 8 different movies that are coming out next weekend. That was too difficult. But today we get Wonka, and Apple TV released a new movie, so we'll talk about that. So let's get it started. Let's start it off with a look at Timothee Chalamet and Chalamet. Chalamet. I'll get it. Timothee Chalamet in Wonka from this is coming from the people who made the Paddington movies, Paddington 1 and 2, Paul King. Look, just understand Paddington 1 and Paddington 2, and some will say Paddington 2 more so, are two of the best live action family movies that have come out in forever. Like, Mary Poppins quality. And absolutely, I'm not, look, I am a friggin' freakazoid for Mary Poppins, and Paddington 1 and Paddington 2 are like on par. And so the dude that made Paddington, Paul King, said, "Hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make Wonka prequel." So this is not necessarily a prequel to the 1971 Gene Wilder starring Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Nor is it even really necessarily a prequel to the books. They're taking this as its own thing. And I think part of the reason is because, first of all, the books are extremely problematic in a lot of different places. And second of all, they clear the Gene Wilder jaded sort of jaded weirdo. We'll just call him a jaded weirdo. The Gene Wilder jaded weirdo Wonka. It doesn't have a very Paddington vibe, so Mr. King would not be the number one choice for that kind of movie. However, if you take the weirdo-ness and add childlike wonder and excitement and hopes and dreams, then you get something that Mr. King can absolutely latch onto. Look, the movie the movie's theme is stated from Wonka's mom during a flashback scene, and it's the theme of the movie is every great thing in the world started with a dream. Okay, and so look, you would not hear necessarily the jaded weirdo Gene Wilder say that. However, Timothee Chalamet saying it and this version of Wonka absolutely and totally works. This movie is automatically number one nominee, or is a very top nominee for 2023's best movie versus worst trailer, where like the trailer just doesn't give you anything about what the actual movie's gonna feel like, because I came into this movie like, oh, I don't know what my expectations were not very high. Okay, let's just say that. Other than, it was made by the guy who did Paddington. That was it, because the trailer just was weird, and not in a fun Willy Wonka kind of way, like in a what is this movie even trying to do kind of way. And ultimately, what the movie is trying to do is it's just great. I loved it. I loved this movie. First of all, it's 100% a musical, as much as the 1971 version was a musical. And but it may be a little more Although the 1971 version was a musical, we'll call it a musical. It's that level of musical where with maybe an extra dance scene, but the extra dance scene is a dream sequence for Willy Wonka's, and it's like Austin Powers level funny in how it's executed, and yeah, so I look, I like musicals, okay? So sue me. I love family movies and live action family movies. By the way, just to establish the difference, there is a difference between a kids movie and a family movie. A kids movie is for kids, and parents begrudgingly take their kids to it, and there's usually a joke or two thrown in for adults, but ultimately it's just for the kids, and the parents are going to be like, "Oh God, I hope my kid doesn't latch onto this and watch it, indefinitely for 3 months when it comes out on Blu-ray." Whereas a family movie is something that really is genuinely for everyone, in that the level of entertainment is consistent throughout and consistently endears itself to children and adults alike. And the best example of family entertainment has always been Disney. And that's not to say it's only been Disney, but that's what we're talking about with Wonka and the musical, the musical that is Wonka. It's just it just tickled me from start to finish. Wonka shows up in an unknown, unnamed city that has three major chocolatiers who we find out are running in essence, a chocolate cartel. And Wonka wants to break in and become part of the scene in this city that is world famous for its chocolate. And um, difficulties and hilarity ensue. And really the charm of this movie is getting to watch Willie uh just really try to make his way through these obstacles that are constantly put up in front of him, and in new and ingenious ways. That's where the charm is. I mean, it's really simple. It's just like, hey, here's a guy who is a magician, inventor, and chocolatier, and he needs to magician and invent his way so that he can sell his chocolate. And it's great. It's super fun. One of the things that was disconcerting about the trailer was Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa that's in the movie. I am here to tell you that it's an Oompa Loompa in the movie. There are others briefly, but it's only to get the Oompa Loompas backstory. This backstory is significantly less disconcerting than certainly the backstory in the book, and even the backstory in the 1971 movie. Um, and yeah, it's you know uh, he's actually really funny. Like, it's really funny to see Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa. Yes, would it have been nice to should they have hired an actor of a little person actor, and yeah, probably, uh but they didn't. And so they had a different vision for it, clearly. Like, the idea wa- was not exactly that. And you know I mean, he's tiny. Like, they make him tiny, and so I don't know that a little person would have even worked in the role, because uh it just might not have worked. And so like, little person being captive in a jar, I don't know. I think that's worse than putting Hugh Grant in the jar. That's what I'll say about it. Ultimately, he does work, like everything frigging else going on in this movie. The musical numbers work. The only thing I will say is that the third act uh doesn't sustain for the entirety. There there's just so much energy in the first two acts, and then the third act, Wonka has to deal with more than just obstacles. Um and I think that dealing with more than just the obstacles, and dealing with actual like danger, and it just it 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 just kind of took away from the magic, I think, is really what I'm looking for here. And it's still okay, it's still good, it still works as a movie on the whole. And ultimately, obviously, it's a family movie, so you have certain, you definitely have warm feelings. And there are musical cues throughout that harken back to the 1971 version. Even though it's not a prequel, it's a sort of like an alternate universe prequel, I guess we can call it. There are references, and they're good. Most of the references are musical cues, and yes, I fell for that 100%. And um there you know uh, look, see the movie. That's the last thing I'm going to say about it. Like, just absolutely see the movie. Chalamet, I don't know why I call him Chalamet. Chalamet is excellent as this Wonka. Okay. Now, if you want the bitter cynicism that you get with the book version and the Gene Wilder version, might not be the one for you, but I hope you'll give it a chance and realize that it's a different thing. And it's okay to be a different thing. And this really, really works as a great movie. And uh, I I'm going with 4 tacos. So here at Real Real Talk, when we rate movies, we go with tacos. And if we really like it, we can add a little extra. We add guac. Um, uh, so Wonka for me is getting the 4 tacos. I'm not adding guac. I've been debating whether I wanted to add guac all week or all weekend, basically, and all day today. I've been vacillating between 4 tacos and 4 tacos with guac. These are friggin' fantastic 4 tacos. I cannot possibly recommend um going to see Wonka in theaters more this Christmas. I mean, it's just a perfect family movie. So please definitely check out Wonka. The next movie you can stay at home because it's not playing in theaters, and it's Mark Wahlberg, or as I affectionately call him, Marky Mark. Although there I have Macri Mark. Let me fix. I'm not even gonna fix it. I'm just gonna own my mistake. It's Marky Mark. You know what I'm trying to say there. Marky Mark in a movie on Apple TV called The Family Plan. Um, and I mean, I haven't heard anybody talk about mention this movie. And look, this movie could have very easily starred John Cena, and it would have been terrible. But instead, it stars a super charismatic and likable Mark Wahlberg, and not trying to be a priest. And so, you know what? I'm in. I was in. This movie's basically sort of like a mix between like True Lies. No, it's basically like like a family version of True Lies, where, and granted, Ronald Schwarzenegger has a family, but like here it's like really dealing more with his family than the fact that he was formerly an assassin. And oh, you know what the other movie is that it's like is Just in Time for Christmas. It's oh, Gina Davis and Samuel Jackson. Oh goodness gracious, it's escaping me the name of it. Anyway, but oh god, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Hold on. Anyway, but The Family Plan is streaming now on Apple TV, and yeah, it's it's actually really good. It's not Wonka good, but it's super watchable. Like, this is a really, really watchable movie. This is a movie that you put on, and it's just like, okay, yeah, I'm in. I could do this. You know, Guy used to be an assassin, trying to just be a family man now, no longer an assassin, and he gets gets called out for it. Like, his past becomes exposed, and he has to deal with that. And uh that's I don't know what to tell you, but that's that's what I want in movies. I want to be able to just sit down and watch a movie and just be like, okay, let's take this ride. At no point am I like, oh, this movie is, is trying to communicate something. Because guess what? It's not. It's not trying to communicate something. Um, it's just trying to communicate, hey, sit down, watch this movie, and have fun. Um, the the kids are 100% completely passable in as their kids. The wife, hold on, I'm sorry, I'm almost to where the Gina Davis movie, Long Kiss Goodnight. There you go. So this is a cross between True Lies and The Long Kiss Goodnight. Only a really PG version of The Long Kiss Goodnight. The mom is played by Michelle Monaghan, who you may know from either Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, amazing, or Gone Girl. Also, by the way, amazing. She's really good and just fantastic in this movie. As much as Jamie Lee Curtis is awesome in True Lies against Arnold Schwarzenegger, guess what? Yeah, Michelle Monaghan is equally awesome again, going with Mark Wahlberg here. And I look, I know it sounds weird. Apple TV, the family plan, what? Just if you have it, just spend the hour and 45 minutes. What is it? An hour and 58 minutes. So it's spending 2 hours. It's you're already paid for. You already have the service. It's not going to kill you or anything. Um, it's time to rate it, and so the family plan is 3 tacos plus guac. Uh, you know, good action, completely believable relationship with Marky Mark and his family. Hits all the appropriate funny points that you want from this type of former spy, former assassin, trying to turn good but then gets exposed. Just it's just super fun. I recommend it wholeheartedly, and I hope you check it out. That's it. That's all we had for today. Because why? Because Hollywood wants to release 8 movies next week and only 1 this week. So thank you for joining me on Real to Real Talk. I hope that you'll come back next week. Next week's super special. We've got Kristen Smith. That's right. Kristen Smith's coming in. Everybody's favorite. And by everybody, I mean mine. So I hope that you'll join us. We'll be looking at some Oscar contenders. So be sure to check that out. And I'm Paul Britton. This is Really Real Talk.